Hello, gaming peeps. Yesterday I made a video. I shouldn't say yesterday. I should say about 10 minutes ago. I made a video that publishes today. And I said that tomorrow's video will tell you a funny story from Origins 2009, which was the only time I had been to Origins. And this story came up a couple times this week because people were asking me, well, why haven't you been back to Origins? Did you not like it or whatever? So the topic came up, and no, it wasn't that I didn't like it. It's just I I had only limited vacation days, and I chose Winter Fantasy and I chose Vegas. Those are my only two trips. Now I have more vacation days, but whatever. I just haven't done Origins in a while. So in talking about it, this story came up, and I want to tell this story because I really enjoyed telling it. It's kind of funny, and it's funny despite the fact that you don't know the players involved. Okay, it's funnier if you do know them, but you don't. So most of you won't. So that's that. But in any case, so I was working for Baldman Games for as an admin. I had asked Dave, since I was about to do my own con the following year in 2010, I said, could I work admin so I can get an idea for how to run a con and that sort of thing? And he said, sure. So he gave me half my slots in running games and half my slots in admin. Um, and I had some free time, so I decided to play a game. And there's a guy, Steve Baker. I think he's up in Toronto. Haven't seen him since, honestly. I might have seen him at a couple of Gen Cons because I continued to work admin for Dave full time. That was all I did for him for a while. But I don't recall if I saw him after Origins, but he isn't around anymore. He's not doing the gaming conventions anymore. But this guy, Steve Baker, he was working admin, and he was released from admin to sit at my table for the game that I was playing. And there were two other, an older couple there that were the other two players. So there was just the three of us. So that was an incomplete table in those days. Um, so you had to have a minimum of four players. So they released Steve because they didn't need him. And someone comes over from I think it might have been Dave, but maybe not. Someone from admin comes over and says, "Don't start the game yet, DM. Steve Baker's going to join the game," and then walks away. And this old couple is like, Steve Baker? Oh, that's fantastic. And I'm like, that guy? What? That? I don't understand. What's the big deal? Who is he? He's Steve Baker. Who cares, right? He's just some dude. I mean, he's great. He's a great guy. He was fun. Got a sense of humor. Always appreciate that. But Steve Baker, who cares? I'm like, oh, Steve Baker. So he sits down and we're playing. And the one thing that I remember from the play was he was playing a rogue, and he said, okay, I'm going to use sneak attack. And when he said that, these two said, oh, wow, that's a great idea. That's so smart. And Steve's looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and we're trying to figure out what is going on because this doesn't make any sense. Steve knows he's just Steve Baker. He like, what is the big deal? Um, and then after the game's over, um, Steve stands up. He's the first to leave of the players, and he says, "Hey, thanks for playing with me, guys." And these two say, "Oh no, thank you for playing with us." And again, Steve and I look at each other, and then he just throws his hands up in the air and walks away. So I decided to prod them a bit and say, "So, yeah, so you seem to know this guy. Why?" He's like, "Oh yeah, he invented Eberron." And I didn't have the heart to tell them Keith Baker wrote Eberron. So I didn't. So these people thought that they had played D&D with the inventor of Eberron. Okay, that's fine. Let them have their ignorance is bliss, right? Let them have their thing. So I didn't tell them, but I did eventually get to tell Steve that's what happened. And that story came up a couple times this week because I'd kind of forgotten about it. So I'm glad I thought about it so I could share it here. Um, but hey, I'm sure you've got plenty of stories better than that one, but that one really still gets me to this day. All right, all right, nerds, happy gaming.